ministry.
Hello, my name is Tim Engelmann. This is end of April, and I'm sitting in Rzeszów, Poland. And I'm speaking today to you about creating a bridge from YWAM to the mainstream work. A week before the war started, I was meeting with YWAMers from 9 different cities in Germany. We're looking to start in their city community with YWAMers to reach their own city. For the past 8 years, since 2014, I've been traveling from city to city, mainly in Germany, but also in some other nations in Europe and some other parts of the world, to engage with YWAMers and see how can it look like to reach our own nation. As YWAM, we are very strong in graduating people from DGS, and often it feels like we feel successful when people come back on staff to a YWAM base in a full-time ministry capacity. But since we started with DGS, over 5 million people have graduated DGS, and they're everywhere. In every city in Germany, I believe, we have YWAMers, people graduated DGS, people who carry the vision and the values of YWAM. Like the first and the second value, to know God and to make Him known. What does it mean to make Him known? It explains we want to make God known both in every nation and every tribe and tongue, but also in all the spheres of society. Often like to speak that we are entering a phase for the wave of missions, not just reaching the ends of the earth geographically, and then going into the nations deeper and going to every people group as the third wave. By the fourth wave, we speak about going to the spheres, going to the nations, and how can we create that bridge. 5 million people have graduated DGS, and what do we do with that? This is an intangible, incredible inheritance that we have. In Germany, we speak about a sleeping giant. It's like a body that is not functioning as a body yet, but could function as a body. So just before the war started in Ukraine, I'm sitting right now just 100 kilometers from Ukraine. We're meeting together and discussing what it means to reconnect together and to rise up as a body in Germany. And I saw it, how it looked like here at the Polish border, to rise up together while the whole world came together. And I saw what's possible in a short period of time to reconnect as family. We're so similar, with the same values. And I wonder how it can look like for all people who've done DGSs in our cities. We speak in YWAM Europe this last 2 years often about YWAM 3.0, about reaching Europe again. Do we have a vision for it? Or is our vision for DGS only to come back on staff and go to the nations, which is as important as to reach Europe? We are also nations that have God's heart. How do we do that as YWAM? As I mentioned, for the last 8 years, I've been traveling from city to city, and what I often see, what people who've done DGS say, that there's a community of YWAM. It's a mission-driven network, youth with a mission. Everything we do is very missional-driven. And there's a big desire right now to reach Europe again. What is our part in it? I'm about to fly out today to meet with people in Greece from every student ministry in Europe under the umbrella of Revive Europe. We want to revive Europe. In November, I was part of the Lausanne Europe gathering with all the mission agencies in Europe. The first time for 50 years, because we want to reach Europe together. As YWAM next year, we want to meet together with YWAM Europe together, which we did not have so far in this way, in this format, with the focus of reaching Europe together, about His kingdom come. Right now, as in the Ukraine response here, we see that we're coming together and to want to see Europe being freshly reached, and we see the response, what's happening in our nations of Europe. So there's a timing about vision of reaching Europe, and I believe of creating a bridge for YWAM to the mainstream work, we need to have that vision. We need to see that there's valuable tasks in every sphere of society, and to value that, not just people come back and staff to YWAM bases, but to go to all the spheres and have that vision and to do it together. The communal aspect is, I think, the other one is for me very crucial. Vision community, our mission and relationship. Doing it together is something very special for us in YWAM. We speak about the YWAM values of working in teams, of being relationship oriented. And we talk in the world about two types of cultures, communal cultures and individualistic cultures. In the West, here in Europe, we're more the individualistic type of cultures, but there's a high desire for community. How it can look like outside the base. When people come to a DTS, it's a 24/7 program. You become a new family. You live in a community. And it's what people desire. In COVID times, we were isolated. And people expressed even more desire to be together. There's a lot of loneliness. But there's also a desire to move together. Often people at the end of DTS share about what they want to move to the same city and study there so they can be together in a community and reach the city together. There's this desire and this timing of people who don't come to our bases and full-time staff, but who desire this bridge to be created from the structure we have of training bases. Maybe, YWAM 2.0, the University of the Nations, focus on training, to bridge to the mainstream world of work of vocation. We speak about typically 7 spheres, very biblical number, something about 8 spheres, depending on how you do it. But the idea is it's several ones together, and we need each other. We know how important the religious sphere is. This is what all YWAM staff in the organizational format are part of in our basis. But every part is very, very important. And I wonder sometimes, where are those prophetic journalists out of YWAM, out of the church, where the artists really impact the world, not where they're impacted by the world in the way they communicate via art. But where are also the serious Levites? Where are arts to make a difference in the world? And what I come to learn that when we talk about creating a bridge, it's not just about all the other spheres besides the religious spheres. It's us together. And the communities I've been meeting with just before the war started, some of them have been starting with last few years, some very new, will recognize the need also of the religious sphere and to create the bridge also in the cities. Just the time capacity you have as a full-time person is very crucial, but not just as one pastor, but to do it again in YWAM teamwork and community. And so we need to see community start, not just what we have in the base structure, but in the city. How it look like community life there, to move in together into a city, in the same region. How they look like to live a community lifestyle. This is a choice to say, okay, I center my life around a mission and around a community. This is not the typical individualistic lifestyle we have in the West. So what we need for that is a biblical world vision. We talk about biblical worldview a lot in YWAM. I like the word vision more. I learned in Spanish, cosmovisión bíblica, like vision, makes much more sense than just a view. It's a vision that we have for all spheres and for them together to work as a body and to function as a body in a city, in a nation. And we need to see that. We need to value it as YWAM full-time staff in base context. And to circle everything around the mission and involve everybody and say we're doing it together. We're sending stuff to cities. And what I've been doing the last few years is just touring city to city with full-time staff and to be there together and to encourage and to do events, to do trainings. There's opportunity right now online to do a lot that we can have the capacity for and encourage and strengthen those who don't have the time capacity. I'm running a school called Discipling Nations online school about the 7 spheres. We've been starting different hybrid models of seminars on the weekend. We can stream to many cities at the same time and they meet there in person together. Have the community and at the same time the teaching. So I want to finish with 4 different steps that I encourage you to create a bridge to the mainstream work out of YWAM. One thing is that we need a personal commitment to the values of especially 1 and 2, to know God, to make Him known, and to live it out in all areas of intercession, hospitality, being visionary, relational, and to have a personal prayer life for that. Second one is to have a community locally in each city and say, okay, we are this together, we function around a community. And all we do, we have meals together in the evening. We anyways need to eat. Thirdly, that we create networks. I call it incarnational vocational networks for people of the same sphere, same vocation, but maybe different cities. But we have the value of working in teams, and so we can connect via internet very easily via Zoom, create co-mentoring groups, different commission groups from the same sphere to tackle the issues missionally and biblically that we encounter in our day-to-day struggle as missionaries in our sphere, in our vocation. And the third, as basis, that we are able to empower with our capacity those who are in the different cities and different spheres and create mini DGSs for them, something in maybe semester breaks or in holidays. And create things online and be in person there. Go visits them, have calls, have visits in your region, in your nation. I want to close off with Acts 2:42, and I think it's a beautiful picture that I can imagine everywhere in Europe. It is the first Christians how they're meeting every day in the evening for dinner, and it says they were constantly doing four things. They are meeting together for prayer, for teaching, for breaking the bread, and fellowship community. And I think the same thing I can imagine we are doing already in our bases, but we can do all over our cities, and what people experience and taste in DTS can spread all over. Living a life of a different spirituality, of intercession and worship. Having teaching that we offer out of our bases online and in person, seminars online, in semester breaks, and then sharing food. This is my favorite. Jesus was eating all the time. The first Christians were breaking the bread and every evening, and this is where people get to know Jesus. And to have this hospitality of where we can invite people for meals into our communities and cities, and to break isolation and be together. This is my final encouragement. Let's do this together. Create a bridge and see that we're in it together. We need each other. All the other spheres need the religious sphere, and we the religious sphere need all the other spheres in the cities. And we can create this bridge right now. Most people I talk to, they're very ready to reconnect. Let's do this. It is easy to start. You can start right now. Visit those who are in the different spheres and start with 2 or 3 are gathered in Jesus' name. Something is starting. And this is how movement begins. We're everywhere. Let's get together again. Let's connect and reach Europe